The answer is no. No, they aren't. But you probably don't need to be drinking them anyway. Hi, I'm Jason Pierce. I'm a personal trainer and certified nutrition coach, and this week I want to talk about electrolytes. Ever since Gatorade was invented, I think in the late 1970s, for Florida Gator football players to be able to stay hydrated, it has become a huge business. You've got Gatorade, Powerade, and then you've got all the other packets like Liquid IV and Elements and different things like that. And they're everywhere, and people are talking about how electrolytes are great. You need them for hydration, and hydration is important. And yes, all these things are true to a certain extent. As human beings, we need to stay hydrated. Yes, that is true. However, for most of us, most of the time, water and a balanced diet takes care of everything we need. Water is an incredibly effective way to stay hydrated. Just drink water. And electrolyte drinks and powders are for a very specific set of circumstances. So obviously, if you're a high-level athlete and you are putting in a lot of training hours, yes, electrolytes can be very helpful and important for you. In fact, almost necessary. If you're a weekend warrior, however, you honestly don't really need electrolytes. So what are electrolytes? Electrolytes are specific minerals with an electrical charge that your body uses for hydration, muscle function and recovery, and nerve signaling, like sodium, potassium, calcium, and magnesium. Each one does something a little bit different, but they are all important for hydration in general. However, if you noticed the list of those things, you get all that stuff from food anyway. If you have a balanced diet, including fruits and vegetables, you're going to be covered in the electrolyte department. So why are all these electrolyte supplements out there? And why are so many people talking about them? Well, I mean, it's big business right now. Gatorade moves off the shelves as fast as soda in some places. And some people drink it as if it's soda, like that's what they drink during the day. In general, there's nothing wrong with that. However, you can OD on electrolytes, believe it or not. If you have too many of them, you can actually start vomiting and get headaches and all sorts of other problems because there's too much of it in your system. There's one reason not to do it. They're expensive relative to water or soda. There's another reason not to just drink them because they're there. And also, the regular versions of these things like Gatorade and Powerade have a ton of sugar in them. So that's not good for you either. Now, why do they have so much sugar in them? Because if you're out in the heat exerting yourself, the sugar is a really good way to get some instant energy. So in the situation these drinks are designed for, the sugar is important. It's not necessary, but it's important because you can just do the light versions of these as well, have less sugar or no sugar, and you're not going to lose anything in terms of hydration, which is the main point of these drinks is hydration. Just because you're not an elite athlete, that doesn't mean there aren't situations where electrolytes will come in handy. So if you live in the South during the summer and you spend any time outdoors when it's 90 degrees or hotter, having an electrolyte drink can actually be good for you because you're sweating so much. If you do hot yoga, electrolytes can be a good thing, especially if you're feeling weak after that. If you're sick, especially with a stomach flu, but really any kind of sick, you tend to, not eat as much and drink as much, and you also, if you have a stomach flu, you're vomiting maybe, and maybe have diarrhea or something, so you're losing extra fluids. So having an electrolyte supplement of some sort can be very helpful when you're sick. Even if you're a high-level athlete and you're out there for 6 or 7 hours, you're not going to gain any extra benefit from having more than 1 or 2 electrolyte drinks in a day, believe it or not. As long as you're also supplementing with water, because the water is the most important thing to stay hydrated. The electrolytes help, and then when you finally get a meal in you later, that is going to fill in all the blanks of everything else. In general, I think we consume far too many of these drinks. We don't really need to. You can actually make an electrolyte supplement of sorts yourself. Get some water, put a little bit of salt in there, and maybe some lime or lemon juice to make it slightly less hard to drink because of the salt. Drink that. That is actually an electrolyte supplement that will help your hydration. Sodium itself, salt, when it sits in your stomach, absorbs water and keeps the water from leaving your system, and that is a good thing when you're dehydrated. So you don't need anything fancy. You don't need to spend a ton of money on these things, and unless you're really in a situation where they are necessary, you don't really need them at all. I have a bunch of liquid death dust, which I don't even know if they make anymore. I got it bulk in like a kind of sell-off of sorts. And I have so much of this, I don't think I'm ever going to need to buy an electrolyte supplement again in my life. And I got them right before I tore my hamstring, so I really haven't used them much at all. Every once in a while after hot yoga, I've had one. If I've been feeling sick, I've had one. I've got so much of that, it's crazy. Again, you don't need electrolyte supplements as much as advertising might make you think you do. Water and a balanced diet will cover you just fine. You don't need to spend your money on electrolyte supplements unless you're out there at a soccer tournament or an ultimate tournament or playing tennis all day in extreme heat. Then you could get some for those specific situations. I would recommend getting packets instead of bottles, a little bit easier on the environment and a little cheaper. And unless you really need it, stay away from the stuff with extra sugar in it also. Did I leave anything out? Let me know in the comments. Please like and subscribe, tell your friends, and as usual, stay healthy.